Welcome to episode 187 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here. And we've got Robert Davis from Animal Waves this week.
Hell yeah.
Besides that, we've got a ton of other stuff to talk about.
We got some cool shit going on.
Yeah. You got some music to play?
Yeah, some cool fucking music to play.
And besides that, we've got a couple things to talk about that come out later this week.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, need to let you know that we're sponsored by DEB Concerts, a promoter here based in Tulsa that brings a lot of hard rock and metal bands to the IDL Ballroom, downtown Tulsa. We've got coming up on October 5th, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row will be there, along with Monty Pittman and One Bad Son. Monty Pittman's new album just came out last week.
He had two of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have yet to listen to it. I forgot.
Neither have I. One's like acoustic and laid back, and the other one's your full on
metal,
plugged in, shredding. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they're great because it's Monty Pittman.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, that's October 5th. October 12th, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella bringing his solo band to the IDL along with Evil Twin and Sweatin' Bullets. And then on November 3rd, we've got Kix coming to the IDL with Sweatin' Bullets and Rocket Science. And then rounding out this lineup, December 8th, LA Guns and Junkyard.
Nice.
And all these shows are hosted by Eddie Trunk.
Of course.
Yeah, so get out there, meet Eddie Trunk, and see some of these great shows. And thank you to Doug and DB Concerts for sponsoring us. And Doug's mentioned he's got some things in the works that, if they happen, I think people will be extremely happy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
for sure.
Right. But yeah, get online on Facebook and follow the Streets Gone Wild page. Find out more about all these shows coming up to the IDL Ballroom. All right, episode 187. That's like a Samuel Jackson movie from 2001.
That's
187.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's a famous police code.
Yep.
Finally made it.
Kind of sad, too.
Yeah.
That movie was.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, we won't give it away, even though it's fucking years old.
Right. Well, what do we want to get into first? We want to...
Al.
Want to play some music so we can spread out the songs here?
Yeah, let's play some music and then we'll just kind of get it going here.
All right. We're going to play a brand new song from the band 13 Minutes. These guys are out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this song is called Water Vice.
Every thought is I die. Free submerged. Giant suckers in your life. Tie down, race right. My hands are bound. Tie down, race right. My hands are bound. I can't breathe your breath this way.
Water Vice from 13 Minutes, Oklahoma band that we played on here before. Very happy to have a brand new song from them. And just like all their previous stuff, this is a, what's that word you like to use? Ball squasher.
Oh, definitely a ball squasher. And by the way, Jamie Kaczynski, drummer, has been on this podcast before.
Yes.
Go back, look that up. It's a great conversation. This is a hell of a song. I really enjoyed it. It's just a fucking slab of metal all the way through. I love the clean vocals and then the brutal vocals, but the clean vocals still kind of had an edge, which is fucking cool. Just a great song, and I'm always happy to play these guys. They don't do anything halfway.
Right.
They always sound impeccable. Again, just happy to play them.
Yeah. And it's a good point about the vocals, because usually whenever someone does heavy vocals and clean vocals, the clean vocals are
Like
on the higher end.
super clean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of a cool thing to point out, and it kind of sets these guys apart.
Yeah. Just riffs for days. Just great stuff.
Right on. Yeah, look them up. 13 Minutes on Facebook. That's the Roman numeral
Yes.
XIII, not the number 13. So give them a follow. You can find more of their music there. I believe they're also on Reverb Nation and YouTube. So pull them up, check them out, tell them we sent you.
Definitely.
All right, so this Friday, coming up, September 7th, there'll be a brand new album from Clutch, and there'll be a brand new album/concert film from Alter Bridge.
It's like Christmas morning,
It is. Like, these are two of the bands that you could put in the category of consistent as fuck throughout their whole career.
No doubt. I can't. I mean, okay, well, just.
We should pick one before
we should. It's goddamn, it's overwhelming, to start describing these bands, in a general. I mean, I'll leave that up to you, whichever one you want to tackle first.
Well, let's do Clutch.
Okay.
Book of Bad Decisions comes out this Friday.
Uh-huh.
It'll be the 12th album from the rock band out of Maryland known as Clutch.
Yes.
The word consistent isn't even really a good word, because it's not just consistent, it's like great.
Yeah.
It's like, when okay, there's a new Clutch album coming, and you knew, we're going to get an advance copy to listen to. There's a 1% chance that you might have something negative to say.
Yeah.
And a 99% chance that you're not.
Yeah. And it's always a good chance it's going to be fucking, spectacular.
Yeah.
Something that I kind of want to put you on the spot with, I think you'd started listening to it before I did, and you kind of said it's Clutch, it's great, it's awesome, but there's some different stuff going on, I think.
Yeah.
And, I kind of heard some stuff. I want to hear your take first, though, of like what you.
Well, first off, the sound of like the last couple albums, Psychic Warfare and Earthrocker, was real. It wasn't clean, but it was more just straightforward rock.
Yeah.
And this one just has a lot more of a fuzzy, distorted feel to a lot of the guitars that, Clutch has had before, but hasn't been around lately, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then more so than other Clutch albums, it seems like the songs go in a lot of different directions.
I get that.
A lot of times their albums are like, it'll have different sounds to it, but it'll be along the same line, whereas this one goes in a bunch of different spots.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I heard, some voices that I hadn't really heard before, or maybe I just haven't heard in a while on the Clutch record. The Vision Quest, I love the piano in that. In Walks Barbarella's got the horns going. And that song, there's nothing in the room that can stay still when that song comes on.
Right.
I want to get my green hat and my cane and do a pimp walk. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Emily Dickinson had that kind of middle thing where it was kind of wide open, and usually Clutch is real tight and riffy. So but I liked the kind of different stuff they had going on. So,
oh yeah.
It's a great fucking record.
Yeah. the one thing you always know you're going to get besides great music is Neil Fallon is like a lyrical genius.
Yeah, I mean, How to Shake Hands, fucking Jimi Hendrix on the $20 bill, Bill Hicks on the 5 note.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm
That's
I'm
the
dead,
best line
dude.
on
I'm
the thing.
dead. Get the fuck out of here. I'm done. I mean, there's nothing, you can't write anything better than that. Just everyone should stop after that.
True. That is one of the
Fucking
better lines
rad.
I've heard in a song in years.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just like in Walks Barbarella, the weaponized funk line. I
Yes.
just love that.
I noticed in Walks Barbarella, they kind of call out some of their older songs,
Yeah.
you know.
But like you said, that brings in horns, and that's,
Mhm.
I had read, like I couldn't think off the top of my head, but I know they've done that before, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
But, or maybe they haven't. Maybe I was thinking of, no, I know they've done piano before, obviously, but like you said in Vision Quest.
Yeah.
But when it came in, it kind of shocked me, but just
Mhm.
because I haven't heard that in a while. But same with
Yeah.
the horns, it's like that wasn't anything I expected, and it just worked so naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Spirit of 76, A Good Fire. That was a great song.
When Spirit of 76, a lyric drops a ode to Family Feud. Like, who else can say Family Feud and it makes sense in a song?
Really, I must have missed it. What'd he say?
I can't, like when he's talking about Family Feud invaded our homes or something. I can't remember the exact line, but I'm like, that's just perfect because Neil Fallon says it sounds perfect. Anybody else said it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. You know, Spirit of 76, you probably didn't know it. That song's about me.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Just kidding. Bad joke.
But this, another thing to point out is this was produced by Vance Powell, and this is the first album of theirs he's produced.
Yeah.
He's produced like Chris Stapleton and the White Stripes,
Really?
and he's won a lot of Grammys, but he's never went. As far as I know, like on the credits I saw, he hasn't done a lot of bands like in this realm.
Really?
And like in their press release, they were talking about how when they decided to work with him was because I think it was Tim Solt said his brother-in-law was a huge Chris Stapleton fan, and they would listen to music, and he thought it just sounded totally different than normal country albums.
Yeah.
And when he found out who it was, he said that's also the guy that did Dead Orchestra, and that sounded so much different. And Dead Weather. Sorry, I'm dropping an ode to Kansas bands, but the Dead Weather. Anyway, and then whenever Vance came in, he said that he went and saw a lot of their live shows before he ever did anything in the studio, just to get a feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they had said that they wanted to bring in that to make the songs sound like they do live. And bands say that all the time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cliche thing to say.
Yep.
And I always see that. I'm like, okay. And then I hear the song. I'm like, this sounds like your other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But with Clutch, I don't know how to describe it, but there's several of the songs where I actually hear that. Like I could hear an audience in the background.
Yeah.
And it would sound like it was live.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So they pretty much pulled that off if that's what they were going for.
Yeah. Well, it's a great record. Comes out Friday. Everybody go get it. Listen to it, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even mention the title track. It's got a real bluesy solo to it. And
Book of Bad Decisions.
yeah. And there's other stuff that has bluesiness, like Emily Dickinson kind of does. You mentioned that.
That was a good one, yeah.
And in the last song, Lorelei, is like slower and dark and bluesy as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the two songs that are the slower ones, Emily Dickinson and Lorelei, are like the two long ones, like over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And everything else on this thing is like 3 minutes something long.
Yeah.
And 15 songs, you gotta get worried when you see a band that has 15 songs and they're all full-length songs.
Sometimes it's a little much, no matter what
Yeah.
band it is or how much you like them.
And I know that you've always been a fan of shorter albums, but the fact that most of these songs are shorter songs, it kind of works.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you on a more general, this record is what we're talking about and it's great. But on a general, tip, what is it you think, about Clutch that so many people get? Because, you can have the metalheads love them, the indie alt people love them, the fucking, the Knuckle Dragon, Five Finger Death Punch, Rocklahoma, Rock on the Range people love them. What is it about Clutch that they can hit all those points? What do you think?
Man, I don't know. Is it just because musically they flowed in between all those areas.
I mean, there's your answer, I guess. I mean,
But I mean, there's other
know.
bands out there that you could
Yeah.
say that about. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head that like float in between genres, but don't have that same fan base that Clutch does.
Yep.
Where any Clutch show you go to, you're gonna see hundreds of people in the crowd,
Yeah.
and the majority of them are gonna know the words to the deep cuts, like every song that's going on.
Exactly.
And, you know, Clutch changes the show every single night to a completely different set list, and people don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
And it could also be because Neil Fallon he's got a voice that just kind of, it's another thing. It's hard to describe. It transcends a lot of things.
Yeah. I think, you know, and they absolutely do not cater to any of those genres I mentioned earlier.
That's right.
And they do what the fuck they want, and it still resonates, and that's when you know you've got something, you know, worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. Well, like this album alone, like we talked about in Wax Barbarella,
totally.
that's got the funk, and then you've got the blues sounding stuff, and then you've got the straight up rock stuff. It's always got groove.
Yeah.
They cross all those different areas. And
Amen.
I mean, it's something, I know I've pointed this out a couple of times when we talked about Clutch in the past, but I remember a couple years ago, or maybe more, on Facebook, Joe Altier.
Yeah. Just
Joe, for those of you that aren't familiar, check him out.
Who we're going to have on this podcast one fucking day.
That's right. He pointed out a post he made. He's like, hey, who do you think is the rock band that if someone had like came here from another planet and never heard rock music, like who would you play them to say this is what rock music is? And people are giving all their different examples, you know, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, my answer's Clutch.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of good because that's almost perfect because it touches on a little bit of everything, you know?
Yeah, it does. They're really like the new Ramones or Motorhead.
That's a good
You
point
know,
too.
they're the band that never got super famous, but they're known and they're just consistent, and they're like a cult following type kind of deal.
Yeah.
But still big. I don't know. I don't know the best way to describe that. I think I sound like a fuckhead right now, but just the fact, that's all you have to say is they're kind of like the Ramones or Motorhead. I think people will get it.
Yeah. And both those bands were meant for the live setting, just like Clutch is.
Yes.
And another thing to point out about this album I'd read was that they said they played all 15 of these songs live.
I don't doubt it.
You know, a lot of bands will throw in a few songs beforehand, but they tested them all out live before they ever went in the studio.
That's right.
And, you know, when we saw them at Rocklahoma back in May, they played Gimme the Keys.
Yes.
Which ended up being the first single, came out right around that time. And we've mentioned here on several occasions in Wax Barbarella.
Yeah.
So why don't we play that right now?
Let's do it.
Attention 3 times this week, playing with the bad kids down by the creek. When I was your age, I did the same. I saved you some trouble, boy, and tried to explain. Down tractor beams, weaponized fun in Wax Barbarella. Set to stun, Defcon, tractor beams, Gamma-ray gun, straight out the mothership, weaponized funk. Let me back up 20 years or so. Before I met your mama, I was living on the road. I made a bail from the astral planes. Hopped in my 710, I was never quite the same.
Walks Barbarella, the 4th single released off of Book of Bad Decisions from Clutch.
That's right. We're stoked to be able to play this.
Yeah. Thank you very much to Doug from New Ocean Media for getting us an advanced copy of that so we could talk about it here. And then the rest of you, this coming Friday, September 7th.
You know what to do.
Yeah. Pretty much anywhere you can purchase music or download music or whatever you do.
That's right.
Clutch, Book of Bad Decisions. All right. Like we mentioned beforehand, another new release coming this Friday is Alter Bridge live at the Royal Albert Hall. And this also features Parallax Orchestra.
Yes.
This is you can buy it audio or you can buy Blu-ray.
Yeah, Blu-ray.
Or I think even DVD or digital download of the movie.
Yeah.
Or just the audio or a full package of everything. There's a lot of options here.
Yes.
And
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say we both watched the concert film.
Yes, we did.
Which includes all the audio, but actually includes more because it has a lot of documentary stuff weaved into it. But this, first off, what's your thought when you hear, we're getting, there's a live album from Alter Bridge, but it's going to include an orchestra because obviously that's been done in the past, but it's been a while, I think, since.
Yeah. Well, a few thoughts. I mean, before we start even, running down songs or high points that we each liked, whatever. Kind of like you said, no matter how much I like them or how good they are or whatever, anytime nowadays you hear such and such with orchestra, you're kind of like, okay, whatever. Because we're jaded to that. It's been done a lot.
Yeah.
Metallica, Kiss, Scorpions, fucking you name it. A lot of bands have done it at this stage. And even they even admitted that. I've heard Miles Kennedy. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was Miles and Mark Tremonti on different podcasts or different interviews. They both, and I think they said it in this documentary that was kind of, sprinkled throughout this concert film. When the idea was presented to them, hey, let's do an orchestra thing. Like, no, it's been done a million times. No. But, they were finally convinced to do it. And, thank God they were.
Right.
This whole thing is just a treat. You've got the orchestra. You've got the legendary venue. It was shot beautifully. It sounds badass. The set list is great. And, there are definitely points throughout the show where the orchestra really brings something, unique or, extra to the songs.
Right.
Well,
and the other thing about an orchestra.
That's my initial thoughts there,
Well, about an orchestra adding to it was those bands you mentioned are the first ones I thought of too. And it's like, those are all bands that have been around for 30, 40 years.
Yes.
And you don't see it. I mean, unless I'm forgetting someone, you don't see it a lot from newer bands.
Yeah, true.
At least in the hard rock and metal area. Mm-hmm. And, Alter Bridge as a band's only been around 14, 15 years now.
Yes.
And for them to do it, I don't think it's ambitious because they have the catalog that they can easily do it.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that someone newer is doing it besides just a classic band, which is what you expect them to do that to try to revitalize something or get people to pay attention,
And, their music could really lent, an orchestra could be, lent to that pretty easily, I think.
Right.
It's not like if you did a fucking something wacky like fucking, I don't know, Korn or fucking Five Fingered. I've said that too many times this podcast. Fuck me.
Well, yeah, if
you know what I mean,
did
though.
An orchestra, it's like the orchestra is going to have to just figure this out. How do we make this shit better?
Yeah,
but
there's no way to fucking. But we're getting off the subject because we need to get back to Alter Bridge.
It's I think Dream Theater did it once too. That's a good comparison to this because even though Dream Theater, you think of being way more intricate and whatever than Alter Bridge is, Alter Bridge has a lot of shit going on in their music and a lot of layers, a lot more than a lot of bands.
Yeah.
From their, whatever you want to call it, their counterparts or whatever in the world right now. So it lends itself a lot more than most bands that, could be considered whatever genre you put Alter Bridge in.
Yeah.
Because they balance that line between hard rock and heavy metal. And they're also considered, radio rock by some people just because they're on the radio. But anyway, like you said, this thing, that's the first thing I noticed. You said it was beautifully filmed. Like it jumps out at you like how amazing this thing looks, just even more so than normal concerts. I can't even explain it. Just like the way the camera's panned and everything, it was just unbelievable. Just the way the stage was set up with the orchestra, and then of course that theater, which is amazing. It just, you can't really put it into words, without sounding dorky.
Yeah.
But,
so, like, going down the list, what are some highlights of this set for you?
Well, the first track, Slip to the Void, is a perfect song to open any Alter Bridge show with.
Uh-huh.
And, it's cool, it set the tone, but then whenever it goes directly into Addicted to Pain, and that main riff that Tremonti's doing, and the orchestra comes in on top of that, like real heavy, I'm like, that's when I knew, holy shit, this thing's gonna fucking rule.
Definitely.
Like, I already knew it was gonna be good, but just the way that kicked in early on, I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. And then they just go into a lot of stuff like that I love, like Before Tomorrow Comes and Brand New Start from Blackbird, because that's my favorite album theirs. And of course, at the end they played Blackbird. They always do.
Yes.
That's like epic and huge and amazing. Some of the other stuff like Lover and Fortress, and along with Blackbird, are huge epic songs that adding, an orchestra to them only just made it even more epic somehow.
I agree.
And when you think of songs working, all the slower songs are obviously gonna work beautifully with an orchestra,
of course.
But when you hear heavier songs like Ties That Bind or Cry of Achilles, and how great that sounded with an orchestra added to it, like The End Is Here is another one.
Oh, man.
Where the orchestra just amplified this thing to a whole nother level.
You ain't shitting. The End Is Here. That's the one. It was all great. And, the orchestration was cool. But when The End Is Here came up, that really grabbed me. Just the way they did that, and I don't really know how to describe the part. You just have to listen to it. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's like the middle part, where it's just instrumentation, and it's very gripping. It's really fucking cool. Before Tomorrow Comes is another highlight for me, because I love that song anyways.
Yeah.
I just thought The Last Hero, I thought was really fucking cool. It's so cool to see that they didn't, this wasn't just let's just do this because other bands are doing it. They really put some thought into this, and, I'm grateful for that.
That's a great point. They put a thought into the set list for sure, because when you think of an Alter Bridge show, you go to a show, you expect that you're going to hear Rise Today, and you're going to hear Metalingus. And those are two of the songs that people that don't follow this band know. No, yeah. And they're not on this long-ass set list.
I appreciate that. I get it.
I fucking love both those songs, but I'm completely fine with that. Because, they did put on Words Darker Than Their Wings, and like they mentioned in the documentary and stuff, that's never been played live.
Really?
And
that's awesome.
For them to pull that off, and they'd say, like Mark Tremonti said in there, that him and Scott Phillips have always wanted to play it live because it was one of their 3 favorite songs he ever written. And Miles Kennedy just always kind of pushed back because they got real high at the end. And when they played it live, and at the end where he's screaming high,
dude, he went for it, man.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Yeah, it was nuts. He does Axl Rose shit with Slash. He can nail that shit.
Yeah,
he can.
Yeah,
and that's another. Let me stop there for a minute and just mention, which is something we've kind of known, or Alter Bridge fans know, but that really needs to be brought to the forefront is, Miles Kennedy is a fucking guitar god himself in his own way.
Right.
That guy can solo his ass off, and he did on this DVD.
Yeah.
And that's just another, wonderful dimension to this band.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can get in a band with Mark Tremonti and hold your own, you're obviously
exactly
good at what you do, right?
I agree.
But I also love the fact I didn't mention Broken Wings from the first album was on here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably my favorite slower song of theirs.
Yeah.
And when that first album came out, I listened to the shitload out of it. That's probably my favorite song off that album besides Metalingus.
Yeah.
Another thing to mention is that I kind of thought when you see orchestras added to a rock band, a lot of times they really want to let you know there's an orchestra with us. So it's like over the top.
Yeah.
And this orchestra, it was never over the top. Like it was always just complimenting Alter Bridge, basically.
That's a great point, man.
Because, you know, it wasn't
You're right.
like, it never like no one, at least from what I remember, there was never just orchestra playing. Nothing, you know, to where it was just like, hey, look at this. You know, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, it really, you know, music was number one.
Yeah. But, and the other thing is if you want to watch the concert film because, like I said, it has this documentary that's split up throughout the show. And I was just curious what you thought. Do you like that? Do you wish like it was just like a documentary before or after? Or do you like it scattered throughout the performance? Or does it really matter to you?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to watch it. So
Right.
either way, if it's separate or put in, you know,
It doesn't break
and
it up.
especially for this, you know, it's a special occasion. It's a special event. It's a unique venue. So I definitely get it. It all holds together and it all sticks together in one piece for me,
Yeah.
you know, so I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, and then I mentioned Rise Today earlier, and at the end, after everybody got out there and they were bowing, did you notice the crowd was singing Rise Today?
I did not notice that.
Which was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Just like, I don't know, like how that started or what, but
well, it's one of their biggest songs, so
Yeah.
I get that in a way,
yeah.
you know.
But yeah, so Alter Bridge live at the Royal Albert Hall featuring the Parallax Orchestra.
Friday.
Yeah, you can buy this on CD, digital download, buy the movie on Blu-ray, or buy the movie digital download.
Exactly.
You won't be disappointed if you love Alter Bridge. Hell, if you don't love Alter Bridge, now's the time to fucking start.
This will make you love Alter Bridge.
Yeah. But thank you to Kevin from PFA Media for sending that over to us as well.
Many thanks. Yes.
All right, you wanted to talk about this Metallica.
Oh, motherfucker.
You
All
forgot.
right.
You forgot, didn't you?
No, I didn't forget. I just let it go because it didn't seem like you wanted to.
Oh.
But we can talk about it. Fuck, I love talking about it. Come on.
So Jason recently bought 2 Metallica watches. That's what we're going to talk
No, I did not. You know what?
about. Now, speaking of that, you know what I thought was funny? When we were talking about that on the last episode,
Yeah.
after we were done, I thought, you know what I should have said? If they just came out with a whiskey or something, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
And then, like,
And
the
then
next
they
day,
did.
day they announced Metallica Blackened Whiskey.
Nice.
I was like, shit, I'm glad I didn't say that out loud so I don't feel like obligated to buy it. But I still want to try it.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll buy it.
Yeah.
But what we were really going to talk about was
Well,
the kickoff of the...
I'm just saying, it looks like it's going to be expensive whiskey too,
Oh,
because
Well,
it's
I'm sure.
Metallica,
Well, yeah.
and I'm going to be dumb and fucking buy one bottle and never open it. So,
Right.
no, maybe I'll
Let
buy
it
2
age.
just so you can have one or just taste a little bit of it.
Okay, thanks.
Probably not. Just kidding. Okay, sorry. Anyways, go ahead.
So 2 or 3 nights ago, Metallica kicked off the next leg of the Hardwired tour.
Yes, they did.
And, you know, we just bring this up because obviously we talk about Metallica a lot.
Yes.
And-
I mean, you know, in my eyes, they're the best goddamn thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to talk about them a lot.
Right.
And if you don't like it, I don't know, go find another podcast, eat a dick. I don't care. So I'm going to talk about them. And, you know, they're the North American leg of this tour is continuing on. And, you know, if they did cookie cutter set lists, cookie cutter shows,
There'd be no point talking
there'd
about
be
it.
no point, but they change the shit up every night, which I love when any band does that. So, you know, we're going to talk about it from here, you know, here and there.
Yeah. I know you, like, being the fan you are, like when they go on these tours, you look it up every day.
Oh yeah, I don't
the
go,
next day.
yeah, I don't go to bed until I see the fucking set list. That's how much of a fucking dork I am.
Right. Well, so they kicked it off in Wisconsin, and, you know, we're interested because the consensus with what Metallica's done in recent decades,
Yes.
or this past decade or so, was when they do the next leg, going back through places or in the smaller markets or whatever, a lot of times that's when they change up
Yes.
and do
Yeah, when they
not
get
as stock like they did on the big arena tour. They're of course mixing it up, but
Yeah,
they still had the basic like 8 or 12 songs in there.
yeah, when they get to the end of their touring cycle for an album, they really start playing fun with this. They really start playing around, with the set lists and change it up.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're maybe trying to do that here.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing that jumps out is, it's the Hardwired tour, so they're going to play stuff off Hardwired. They played 7 songs
Yeah.
out of the, 12 on there, or 13?
Yeah, 12 or 13.
And, which is fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
But, obviously, as a big Metallica fan, you're always like, man, I wish they'd fucking play Disposable Heroes instead of this song, but like,
exactly.
maybe it'll happen.
Yep.
But the first thing that jumped out at me, besides all the Hardwired songs, was that it wasn't until the 13th song that you got a song from the Black Album.
I know. And that's okay with me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's crazy. It took 13 songs to get to the Black Album.
Yep.
Which usually in any other set list, outside of the newest album, that's what you're getting the most songs from.
Exactly.
5 or 6 songs usually. And this set list only had 3.
Yeah. But, the 4th song they played was Cyanide. They kind of brought back a Death Magnetic thing.
Yeah.
Which they kind of haven't been doing. I think maybe here and there they did.
Yeah, the End of the Line or or what was that other song? The Day That Never Comes.
Yes. But they pulled out Cyanide, which is cool.
Yeah.
And they did it early in the set.
And the 3rd song was Seek and Destroy, which
Yes.
a lot of times historically in the past 20 years, that's like the last song. Or one of the last songs.
Yeah, last summer.
Or no, Enter Sandman's usually the last song, right? But
it was like the last song before the encore or some shit.
Yeah.
I think. So they've been putting that in early, so that's cool.
But does anything jump out to you? Last Caress, obviously.
That's cool. And it's just like, it's really heavy on when you think about it, there's 18 songs and they do about half and half, but just the way it's laid out, it really looks like it's 90% new stuff. But then when you look at the list again, there's Master of Puppets 1, Fuel. So it's just, this is an interesting set list. And I think that I've saw people bitching about it already, but people need to remember they switch it up every fucking night. So, there you go. I mean, this would be an interesting one to own.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I will do that, but I'm just saying.
Well, they hit every single album except for Load and Saint Anger, which I don't think a lot of people are going to complain about.
No, they're not going to play it, yeah. I mean, I would never, ever want them to play anything from Saint Anger. I mean, if they wanted to bust out Frantic or Saint Anger, I maybe would be okay with that here and there. But anything other than that, we just need to, just let it go.
Lay it to rest.
Yes, definitely. So, but Fuel for all you Reload people, there you go.
Yeah.
And everybody loves that song any damn way. So
be curious to see
well, go ahead.
If this will be like a blueprint like they did on last one where there will be the songs like Last Caress or
Fuel.
Fuel.
Exactly. Like the number 10 song and the number 4 song
Yeah.
are interchangeable or whatever.
Or if it'll be more so. Because that's what you kind of hope so, is that it'll be more.
And
It'd
you
be
know
six
what?
or 7 songs that are changed up every night.
And Hardwired, was, whatever. It did get a good reception. So, if they want to play all this stuff, go ahead. Because it seems like people are digging it. So,
Yeah, they're playing all the songs I love off it. Except
Yeah,
Murder One, I think is the only one I'd like to see in there. But
I'd love to see Murder One. That's the only one from this album they haven't played live yet, I don't think.
Seriously?
I think.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
get me wrong, but I think that that's the only one yet. So, and I know that, because it's just like with Death Magnetic, eventually they played the whole thing.
Yeah.
They played all the songs. So Murder One will show up somewhere. Hopefully in Tulsa or Kansas City.
Right.
Or maybe Little Rock, because I'm thinking about that now too.
Are you?
But probably won't happen.
Hey. Might as well do it when you can.
Don't tempt me.
All right, I think it's time we talk to Robert Davis.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you for indulging me
Oh, well, yeah.
in the Metallica talk. I appreciate that.
Hey, I'm the same way. It interests me when I see this set list to see what's up,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But Robert Davis. We talked to him recently.
He's from Animal Waves, a great band.
Yeah, like
that
a
you
trio
all need to know. Yes,
that is, I don't even know how you describe it, like powerful fucking rock and roll. You know, just like he uses the word fuzz a lot.
yes.
And
So
it's got
I'm
that-
going to use it. It is fuzzy.
Yeah, it's got that fuzzy sound to it, that gritty, distorted rock and roll sound. And you can, right now, their single WTF is out. You can check that out.
Yes.
You can also get on YouTube and check out a cover they do, which we talk about here in this interview.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's a mashup of Tom Petty and Zeppelin. And they take, two songs that aren't necessarily, they're both hit songs, but aren't like the first two songs you think of with either of those artists.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool that, the way they mash them together and it works out perfect.
It does. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely go to YouTube and look this up.
And you can see on that song or hearing this other stuff how great a guitarist he is.
Yeah. And also, let me mention that YouTube video, it's professionally shot and recorded.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And he went on tour as Lauryn Hill's guitarist.
That's right.
We talk about that in here. He's done a lot of other stuff. He was part of the band Revis.
Yes.
He played with Bernard Fowler.
Yes, sir.
And Slash. We talked about that. And then, of course, he mentioned in here he's played with Jim Wilson on a lot of his live shows as well.
Who we had on a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
So it's great. It all ties in. It's
That's
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go back and check out that Jim Wilson episode as well sometime.
Yes, please do.
But yeah, let's get into this right now. Here's Robert Davis of Animal Waves.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. The EP is just a piece of gritty statement. In the rock and roll world, there's no rocket science behind it except for we really just like to get behind a good song and trim out the fat and make it as loud as proud as possible. And we really had a good time making it, man. It's super fuzzy, and we produced it ourselves, recorded it ourselves. So you can know that this is coming from the heart for sure.
Is that something you guys all had experience with as far as producing goes, recording?
Yeah, I do. I have had my head underneath the hood, to say, for years now, and whenever Pro Tools was kind of accessible to the bedroom, you know what I mean? I just tried to take my stuff in the big studio and all that knowledge that I had there and kind of transfer it over. And, it's hard to make records at home, but I think nowadays you can, and we made this in a couple different places. One house in Southern Illinois, we recorded some basic tracks, and then in another place in a cabin up in Crestline, California, which is kind of just outside of LA and, in the woods. It's great.
Well, talk about, you talked about trimming the fat and fuzzy. Talk about how your sound developed and, what everybody's brought to it.
Yeah, man. So the majority of the production and the recording of everything has been done by myself. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because I thought that it would be fun to maintain this sound in my head, of just going after the direct sound of the guitar. A lot of the fuzz on this EP is direct sound, and you get a little bit more of a digital aspect, which brings this synth thing to the guitar, which I think is cool, without there being any of that, obviously. It's just a three-piece band. But it's fun for me, you can mess around with the guitar pedals and enjoy recording it, in a different, train of thought, you know what I mean? Back in the day, the Beatles were just distorting the preamp as much as they could to get a sound like that, which I find fascinating. And people are doing such a good job with their pedals, Earthquaker devices, full tone stuff like that. Taking the essence of that sound into the board. It's fun. I love that, and in terms of soloing for 10 minutes, everybody loves to do that. And I wanted to, but I didn't, so most of the songs on the EP are, short and sweet. Live we embellish. We go for it, and we make things longer. Sometimes twice as long if we feel like it. Which is the great thing about this band is everybody brings something to the table, lots of energy, lots of ideas, and we try to keep that going.
When the live aspect, is that unscripted jamming, or is there stuff that you guys kind of work on beforehand?
You know what? We work on it beforehand. The meat and potatoes of the ideas are there, in terms of, not going on too long or having a way in or out of the part, but stuff in the middle, we kind of just let that fly. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sorry to be vague, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. We have fun with it, man. We're doing what all the greats have done, just following in the footsteps of that rock and roll science and enjoying doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, you talked about everybody bringing energy. What else does Charles and Matt bring to the band?
Matt, he's just got this amazing innocence when it comes to drumming. And I don't know if that makes sense, but his innocence is hearty and extremely energetic, and when he sits down and he kicks the kick drum, every time I turn around and look at the guy like, wow, is that coming out of you? Like the solidness behind his foot is incredible. And that's so fun, because he's only 27 years old, and he's got a lot of years to just make that grow, and we're blessed to have him. And then Charles, he's seasoned and he's got one of these bass hands. He won't touch a pick, with his right hand unless he's asked to. But you would not think that by listening. He's very strong with his right forearm, and I really enjoy playing with that. He touches the strings right, and he's really into gear. He loves his gear, so his enthusiasm really adds a nice salt and pepper to this band, so yeah, we're all great friends too, which is so cool, and we're here to do the same thing, so stoked on that.
That probably makes it a little bit easier, huh?
It does, man. I mean, it's just like, every time you see each other, you're excited. Yeah. Every time, there's no drama, like everybody's been up and down through it, in one way or another. Everybody's toured. It's a great recipe, this band. And it took us a while to find each other, but once we did, we were high-fiving and, doing our thing, And, we're all different, Matt's vegan and never drank in his life, and, I'm completely opposite of that. Give me a natural light and some brisket,
Hell yeah. That would be the side where I fall.
Yeah, man, we can hang. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Did you guys have Jim Wilson on recently by chance?
Yes, we sure did.
Yeah, he's my boy, man. I love Jim so much, and I actually play some lead for him on these live shows that he's been doing for Now Playing.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, just, LA family, and so I just wanted to drop him some love real quick.
Awesome. Yeah, Jim's awesome. We're Mother Superior fans from way back, so that was cool.
Yeah, gotta love that. Gotta love that.
Well, you guys also released this cover mashup of When the Levee Breaks and You Don't Know How It Feels. Like, how did that come together? Like, whose idea was that to put those two songs together?
So my manager and I are friends, first and foremost, and then, excuse me. We're friends first and foremost, and we always kind of just rap about things that we like, here and there, and oh, this is such a cool version of this song or whatever, and he was like, yo, let's do a cover. And I said, I don't know, I'm just so into this original thing right now, and I'm loving it, and I have done cover bands before and stuff like that. And, friends always get together and jam with covers, etc. But this just kind of felt like something to do that was unique and fun. Mike called me and he said, well, what about doing some Tom Petty? And we were just rapping back and forth about things. And then I don't know if it was him or me, to be honest with you, that came up with it. But yeah, we were both high-fiving after the phone call. We were saying, let's do that. That sounds like a good time. And the arrangement just kind of popped in my head in terms of like how to do it, letting the guitar ring underneath the verse and that kind of stuff. It was really fun, man. We never rehearsed it either. We just kind of went in there. We went into the studio, and I think it was like our third take or something like that.
Wow.
Don't remember it. Yeah, and we had a really good time doing it. That morning, believe it or not, was our first show ever. We played the side stage at the Warped Tour in Ventura, and that was kind of crazy, getting up really early in the morning, being there by like 11 to play, and then we went into the studio at like 3 in the afternoon and just did a whole bunch of jamming. It was great.
Wow. So it's kind of like those songs kind of guided you instead of you, manipulating them.
Yeah, man. It was just, those are the guys, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And those are the guys. And having that roadmap to join up two songs that we all love so much, and it was just, I hope I didn't offend anybody by doing it, because I was just having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you, man. And it's all respects to those guys, just kind of paying homage.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Warped a minute ago. That was kind of one of our questions. How did that come about, and how was that experience? And it's the last Warped ever, so.
Yeah, right. Our first show, last Warped Tour ever.
Wow.
And Ventura is that's a hot spot for that. You know what I mean? That was kind of one of the pivotal places for that tour. Back in the day. And, man, it was an amazing experience. It just came about through our bass player, who happened to know the person that was putting on the show, and they needed an extra band at the last minute, and we were like, sure, no problem, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're trying to find shows as much as we can. We don't want to go out and just spin our wheels, and we want to get in front of people that aren't going to throw tomatoes at us, so we're trying to do that properly. And we figured, hey, let's go up there. And even though maybe Animal Waves is a little bit more on the blues fuzzy side of things here and there, then I thought it was really cool. And everybody thought, we had a fun time, on stage. So I thought that was cool, and I thought I saw some people in the crowd rocking out, so that's cool,
Yeah.
And, we had a good time there. We had a really good time.
So on your Facebook page, there's an interesting statement in the About section about, saying something about the state of affairs while being able to party. I dug that. I kind of get it. Talk about riding that line and what's the best way without getting too much into either side.
Well, man, it is hard to talk about, and everybody has their their opinion, you know. And so our point is that there are a lot of, I mean, this is us as a whole, you know. We all come from this. And Nathaniel Cox, who helps write this stuff, who I just, you know, so thankful for him and his talent. We feel the same way. As when it comes to the lyrics, it's like, you know, there's a lot of people out there struggling, you know, and then there's a lot of people out there not struggling. And those people that aren't struggling, that are spending $40 million on a car in Car Week this week in Monterey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take anything away from anybody, you know, but if you ain't coming from the place of love, you know, like genuine love, like, oh shit, I see somebody and I should do something about this, you know, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you're on the wrong side of history. And that's what this band is about. Now, that doesn't mean like people can't get better and XYZ. And when I say without forgetting how to party, it's like, you know, I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you how to feel or what to do. You know, I just think that it's better to be real and like open your eyes to people that are struggling and how we can get past that and above that. One of the lyrics in The Meadow, the song off the EP, is when a lost soul just sold a pistol for some bread, you know. And it's like, how many places, how many times is that happening around the world today? You know what I mean? So, fuck that.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel.
Well, what's your guys' writing process like together, you and Nathaniel?
Well, you know, it's always different. Each song is a baby, and you grow that baby, you know, and you feed that baby and nurture it, and it's always different. You know, it could be me, it could be him, it could be both of us together. It's always different, man. So it's hard for me to really pigeonhole that, but I can tell you that nature really helps out. You know, silence really helps out, getting out of the hustle and the bustle, you know. That process is good. And also, you know, running into the city and going nuts for a week and a half and then coming out of it with a whole bunch of stories to talk about, that's always good, you know. So you got to have that balance, you know, and however you can get it.
Well, I know this question's probably pretty premature because we're still a month away from the EP coming out, but what's your guys' thoughts moving forward? Are you thinking of a full length later on, or are you going to keep doing EPs down the line?
Yeah, man, we got a bunch of material recorded, a whole bunch of songs, and how to release them, we don't know. This is a game plan we put together independently. We've got a great team, the Syndicate. We just love those guys, and you know, we're coming from the place of love and coming from the place of music, so we're just trying to get out there to like-minded people and grow it from there. You know, we're looking for, you know, maybe another EP, maybe a full length at the beginning of next year. Who knows, man? At this point, we'll kind of just drop some singles after the EP for the rest of the year to keep things going, which I'm excited about. And, you know, some more live videos for sure. Absolutely. You know, we'll be doing some more in-studio stuff that we have fun doing, you know.
Cool. We'll talk about, you know, your start singing, and, you know, did guitar come first, or, you know, how did all that come about?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been guitar this whole time.
Yeah.
I only started singing backups with Bernard Fowler. Do you know who Bernard Fowler is, by chance? He's been in the Rolling Stones like since the Steel Wheels tour.
Right.
Yes,
You know, he's like mixed backup singer, and you know, he had some great solo stuff. He had a record called Friends with Privileges. He had a record called Aurora, which I co-produced and co-wrote with him. Nathaniel kind of wrote a song on it too, and during the making of that record, during the making of that record, man, I started singing, for the first time. And he looked over at me. He's like, "When are you going to make your own record?" And I said, "I don't know." And then Nathaniel said to me, "Yo, are you going to sing some of these songs?" And I said, "Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a shot." And, maybe some people out there would say, "Well, that doesn't sound like singing," but I have a really good time doing it, and I'm expressing myself. And, it is what it is. I'm frantic, I'm crazy, and, I can't take that out of my guitar performance, so it kind of, bleeds into the vocal for sure,
Well, you said he asked if you were going to sing some of that material. Does that mean you originally had in mind of bringing on a singer?
Well, no. Nathaniel and I had just written some songs, over the years, and we had a catalog, and some of these songs are new, some of them are from the catalog, and Nathaniel's motivation and his vote of confidence was cool, and he had done some singing in the past, and I was just such a big fan of his vocal, and when I would sing on my own, I kind of was noticing that I was singing like him, which has this kind of, I don't know, there's a little bit of dust from Bowie there, or a little bit of dust from Jack White, or that kind of stuff, which we're big fans of. So maybe it comes into the sound a little bit. I don't know,
Well, you mentioned doing it live. Was it like hard to get used to at first, or did it just come naturally singing while you were playing?
Sometimes there's a rhythmic part with the guitar versus the vocal that is kind of, like a wise guy move or something, and I go through that and I work it out a little bit, but other than that, it feels real natural, it feels real natural. I was always such a Hendrix fan, and growing up, I would try to sing and play those songs, and the way that he did it was just swagger central. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what a roadmap to have, and what a thing to follow. So it's really fun. Inspiring. You learn something every fucking time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you went on tour as Lauryn Hill's guitarist, right?
Yes, sir.
Like touring with someone like that's outside of the rock world, like, did you learn anything that you could apply to what you're doing now?
Absolutely, man. She's amazing, and she's beyond talented, and every rehearsal you would find yourself walking away with an encyclopedia of information, so there was lots of things that I could apply to, and how she taught me how to play reggae, and her vision of it, was amazing. And at times, turned my world upside down, and then, Will Calhoun would come in and play drums for a while, and we'd just chop it up, and he'd talk about his view on how to play a proper reggae guitar, things like that. You're just soaking it all up. So yes, outside of the rock world, reggae is very important, very, very important. Rock wouldn't be the same without it, being able to have some of that graciously installed in me is beautiful, so had a good time.
Yeah, we're both pretty big Living Colour fans, so that's cool to hear too.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, man. I love Doug and I love Will. We've done lots of work with them over the years. Doug was in Lawrence's band when I first joined over there.
Nice.
So I actually got the gig from Eric Gales. Eric was going to go out and start doing his own thing. He was like, "Yo, man, why don't you step in here and do this for me?" And Lauren approved, and we all became a little family. It was great.
Nice. Well, I was curious, in your bio and your press release, it mentions that you worked with Slash, and he's been my favorite guitarist since I was a kid, so I was just kind of curious what it is that you had done with him.
Yeah, man. So Bernard and I sat down one day and wrote a song called "My Friend Sin." And if you were to go to YouTube and Google "My Friend Sin," Bernard Fowler and Slash, it would come up. And there's a song there. It's a very beautiful blues song. And Slash is on there, and it's just two guitars and Bernard singing, and then also Lisa Fisher came in and did some background stuff. And then right before we wrapped it up and started mixing, Bernard's like, I got to get Sugar Blue on here. So he went to Chicago and got the harp from Sugar Blue on there. And, man, the song just turned out great. It really did. And we ended up shooting a video for it. And, before we shot the video, Slash came in. he just blew all over the thing, man. It just sounds amazing. Had such a great time doing it. Recorded it at the Steakhouse in North Hollywood. And, yeah, man, it was great. It was really great.
Well, we're looking forward to the CP coming out and hope that when you're touring that you make it to our area of the country, and appreciate you doing this.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Thanks for having Animal Waves, and we're definitely coming through. So if you got a couch, look out.
Right on.
Right on, man. Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
There you go, Robert Davis of Animal Waves. Give me some natural light and some brisket.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you go wrong?
I don't think so.
No, you can't.
Beer and meat.
Is life.
Two of your favorite things.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Two of my favorite things, I guess.
Who are we kidding?
Right. But thank you very much to Brittany O'Connell of the Syndicate. And thank you, of course, to Robert for taking the time out to talk to us. That was a cool conversation. So very glad to have him on, and looking forward to the CPs coming out here on September 28th. It's called EP1.
Exactly.
So that would leave a hint that maybe there's going to be an EP2 down the line.
There better be. I hope so.
As you heard in this, I'm sure there will be.
Yes.
But yeah, so look into all that. Look up Animal Waves on Facebook. Give them a follow. While you're doing that, give us a follow if you have not. You can just find us at The Thunder Underground on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and YouTube at the same handle. We're on Twitter at THNDRUNDR Ground. And you can listen to these podcasts pretty much anywhere you want.
That's right.
Yeah. SoundCloud /Thunder-Underground. We're also on iTunes. We're on Google Music, Stitcher, TuneIn. You can listen to us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on 102.7 WSNR. If this is your first time listening, we appreciate it. Go back and dig through all the past episodes. Tons of other stuff. Like we mentioned, Jim Wilson.
Yep. Was
formerly of Mother Superior and the Rollins Band. He's also now in Motor Sister.
Yes.
He's got a great new solo album out, so check that out. I've had on guys from Tesla, Saxon, Prong, Black Star Riders, King, Europe, Shinedown, Megadeth, Kiss.
Truck Fighters, The Obsessed, Miss May I, Seven Dust. Did you already say Seven Dust?
I did not.
Crowbar, Insight, Great White, Firehouse, Trickster, Bullet Boys, Europe. There's a ton of stuff to dig into.
You didn't mention
Warrant. Goddamn. There's gonna be something you're gonna like.
Yeah. It gets all over the board.
Street Dogs.
Yeah. We've got some punk rock.
We've had regional, local guys, Driver, Normandy's, Severmind, fucking Claim Your Enemy, The Shame, Chad Malone, rather. I mean, just all kinds of shit.
Speaking of a few of those bands you just mentioned, The Shame, the Normandy's, Driver, Claim Your Enemy.
Thunder Underground Fest.
That's right. October 19th and 20th at the Venue Shrine in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Exactly.
This is one that's worth traveling in for, folks.
I think so.
Yeah, there's a lot of hotels in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And you can come on in and see 2 nights of great music. There's going to be 18 acts.
Yeah. Archon. See, I've Wooden Bone, Zen Hipster. We're going to have Custom Black, Locust Grove, Less Than Human, Fist of Rage, Severmind, who I just was talking about, It's going to be a great fucking time.
Yeah. Sign of Lies.
Murderous Mary. Yeah, Sign of Lies.
CJ and Dell from Grind will be
that's
performing
right.
acoustic, along with Sprout will also be performing acoustic.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Once again, not September,
Whoa.
October.
Watch out.
Yeah, 19 and 20 at the Venue Shrine, Thunder Underground Fest. But yeah, is that enough rambling for today?
I think so. Let's get out of here.
All right. Once again, thank you to Robert Davis. And like you mentioned, we've got a couch, so you're more than welcome to stay.
Exactly.
When Animal Waves comes through Oklahoma.
That's right.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.